This severe weather pattern is about to explode, and it could turn into one of the busiest stretches we've seen in years. By the time we get to the end of this week, things are going to take a dangerous turn as the first round of strong storms begins to develop across the central United States. Cities like Dallas, Oklahoma City, Springfield, and Kansas City, you could be dealing with damaging winds, large to very large hail, and even a few tornadoes as warm, unstable air surges northward. And here's the bigger concern. This is not a one-day event, not even close. From the Great Plains all the way to the East Coast, this setup could stay locked in place for days, possibly even weeks. That means repeated waves of storms and a long stretch of very active weather. This is the kind of pattern you cannot ignore. So let's break it all down. We've got a lot to cover today because this is shaping up to be a multi-day severe weather outbreak sequence, likely beginning Saturday with 4 straight days of notable severe weather potential. It all starts Saturday, where the Storm Prediction Center already has a slight risk in place, mainly focused on the high plains, West Texas and western Oklahoma. Expect damaging winds, large to very large hail, and maybe even a low-end tornado risk. Then we move into Sunday and things step up. This system begins pushing east and Sunday looks even more active than Saturday. We're talking a broader and more intense threat from Wichita, Kansas, all the way down to San Antonio, Texas. Very large hail, damaging winds, and a few tornadoes will all be possible. Now watch what happens on Monday. This is when the threat expands significantly. Take a look at this map. A large, slight risk stretches from Minnesota and Wisconsin all the way down into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is a serious setup. 4 consecutive days with organized severe weather risk, and Monday could be the most impactful of them all. If you're in Springfield, Kansas City, Des Moines, east of Omaha, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, you need to be ready on Monday. This is a day to stay alert. All hazards are on the table. And we're not done. Tuesday brings yet another round, from St. Louis down to Waco, including places like Shreveport and Little Rock. Once again, damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes are all possible. This is a prolonged stretch. So make sure you're subscribed because we are going to be covering this non-stop. And yes, we'll likely be live multiple times over the next couple of weeks. Now, before we dive into exact timing, we need to talk about the jet stream setup over the next 7 to 10 days, because this is the engine driving everything. Here's what's happening. A deep trough is developing along the west coast while a ridge builds across the southeast. That combination creates a highway for storm systems to move out of the Rockies and into the plains, and each one of those systems has the potential to produce severe weather. Take a look at this. By Tuesday into Wednesday, a strong and organized storm system moves through Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. This is a classic severe weather setup. All hazards will be possible Monday, Tuesday, and even Wednesday. And here's the key point. This doesn't end there. More systems follow behind it. As we head deeper into April, even into the 3rd and 4th week, we could continue seeing repeated severe weather events. This could be one of the most active Aprils in recent memory. Now let's talk about one of the most important ingredients, instability, because without it, storms can't really take off. But in this case, we've got plenty. Starting as early as tomorrow, instability begins building across the plains. Then Friday and Saturday, it increases even more. And by the time we get into the weekend, those values surge northward, even into parts of Canada. Yes, you heard that right. We're in early April, and there's a real chance of severe weather reaching as far north as Minnesota by Sunday. That is not typical. Then comes Monday, and this is where things really stand out. Instability values could exceed 1,000 joules per kilogram, with some areas reaching 2,000 to even 3,000 across Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. For context, you only need around 500 for severe storms. That's a lot of energy. And when you combine that with strong wind shear, that's when storms can become intense very quickly. We could see severe storms stretching from Minnesota all the way down to Texas, depending on how things evolve. Then, Tuesday through Thursday, the threat shifts east into the Mississippi Valley while continuing back into the southern plains. And beyond that, it just keeps going. Multiple rounds of storms, one after another, hitting the plains and eventually spreading east. So yes, severe weather season is ramping up fast, and we're heading towards its peak as we move into mid to late April and early May. Now let's break down the timing, starting with today. There's a low-end severe threat today across parts of Kansas. Nothing widespread, but still worth watching. Over the next few days, today, tomorrow, and Friday, we're mainly dealing with isolated storms from Nebraska down to Texas. Primary threats will be wind and hail. We're also tracking a system across the Great Lakes bringing snow into Canada, with a few thunderstorms possible in Wisconsin and Iowa. If any of those storms strengthen, they could produce hail and gusty winds. By Thursday, that system moves out, and we start pulling more moisture in from the Gulf. That allows scattered storms to develop from Iowa down into Texas. This is more of a marginal setup, isolated wind and hail. Friday continues that trend. Storms across the central and southern plains, but still not overly intense, just scattered activity. Saturday, though, that's when things change. This is our first organized severe weather day. Watch West Texas and western Oklahoma. Damaging winds, large hail, maybe even a tornado. Wind shear isn't extreme, so tornado risk stays lower, but not zero. Then Sunday, things organize quickly. A storm system crosses the Rockies, and by afternoon, low pressure is all the way up near North Dakota. That means storms could fire as far north as Minnesota. But the main focus, southern plains. Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Dallas-Fort Worth, Abilene, Waco, this is your day. We're likely going live because this could be a significant event. All hazards in play. Then, late Sunday into Monday, it's almost like a repeat. One system moves out, another forms. Similar setup, similar risks. Monday could bring another widespread severe weather event from Dallas-Fort Worth up towards St. Louis. Damaging winds, very large hail, and possibly strong tornadoes depending on how storms develop. Now here's the tricky part. It depends on where the low pressure sets up. Further north, the Midwest gets the worst of it. Further south, the Ozarks and Texas take the hit. So Monday still has some uncertainty, but confidence is high that somewhere we'll see significant severe weather. Then Tuesday, more storms. Midwest, Great Lakes, Lower Mississippi Valley, all in play. Thursday, Ohio Valley and Deep South could see another round. Friday and beyond, still uncertain, but the pattern remains active. We could see severe storms nearly every single day for the next 10 to 15 days. The plains are about to stay very busy. So make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications, because this is going to be a wild stretch. We could be going live 10, even 20 times over the next couple of weeks. Now, before we dive into exact timing, we need to talk about the short-term risks. Today, marginal risk in central Kansas near Dodge City up toward Wichita with isolated hail and wind. Thursday, another marginal risk from southern Iowa into the Texas Panhandle. Wind and hail again. Tornado risk very low. Friday, storms increase across Kansas, Missouri, Tulsa, and the Panhandle. Wind and hail remain the main threats. Now let's zoom in to timing. Today, storms fire across central Kansas from Dodge City toward Manhattan and Abilene along I-70, moving southeast through the evening. Expect 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter to half-dollar hail. They weaken near Kansas City and Wichita. Thursday, better chances. Around 7 p.m., more storms develop. Some could produce hail and wind, especially near the Kansas-Oklahoma border and west of Wichita. By late evening, 9 to 10 p.m., storms near Kansas City could still produce gusty winds. Overnight, they weaken. Friday, storms fire earlier, around 1 to 4 p.m., more widespread. Large hail and damaging winds again. Some slow-moving storms near the Kansas-Oklahoma border could bring localized flooding. Storms move towards Springfield, Joplin, Tulsa through the afternoon, then into northern Arkansas by evening. By 9 to 10 p.m. Friday, most activity fades out ahead of Saturday's bigger event. We'll go much more in depth on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday as we get closer, so make sure that notification bell is on. And as always, thank you for watching. If you're new here, hit subscribe. It's going to be critical to stay updated over the next several days. Follow us on social media as well, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, for additional updates and graphics you can easily share. And don't forget, share this video with friends and family, especially if they live in these high-risk areas. We're covering the entire country, and we'll keep you informed every step of the way. Alright, that's it for now. Stay safe, stay weather aware, and I'll see you in the next update.